Hey everybody,
Howdy, howdy.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Haley.
Welcome to the Art of Intuition. It's good to see you again, Haley.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Sorry you guys don't get to see us this week, but that's okay. You'll hear us.
Yes, and we've got some interesting conversation lined up for you today. There's been a lot circulating in the world about spiritual bypassing and spiritual ego, and I've been really thinking about it because I don't know about you, Haley, but I think that I've had the experience of being stuck in a spiritual ego in the past,
Yeah,
being psychic.
yeah, I think we
I mean, I,
all
I,
I think we all go through it, at least early on. Once that first ego death happens, I don't see it as much with people. But it's not that it doesn't happen, but once that ego death happens, that kind of spiritual bypass goes away.
yeah, I think that this concept is super interesting. So, I mean, I was reading about it and really thinking about this concept of spiritual bypassing because I think, I'm a very positive person. And I tend to smile through my pain. I tend to use positivity in everything I do. I'm a very positive person, and I never really considered it spiritual bypassing to do this positive, like good vibes only concept. It never hit me that that was spiritual bypassing. And, in a younger version of myself, I saw it as, well, that's bullshit. Why can't I just be positive and not have negativity in my life? But what I've learned as I've gotten older is that that is not real, that it's false. It's pretending, it's putting positivity on top of negativity rather than accepting negativity. It's like we are a culmination of light and dark.
Hmm.
So to call us 100% positive all the time is not rational. You can't be. There's too much in life. I mean, life is like a very complex experience, and there's highs and lows. And whether or not you're willing to accept the lows is really, I think, an example of your growth as a human being, your emotional maturity. So
Hmm.
it's not about spirituality,
Yeah, no,
it's
it's
yeah,
it's everyday mundane things that every single person deals with, whether you're spiritual or not. Like, you have a responsibility to deal with your emotions and deal with your issues, and nobody else has that responsibility to deal with yours. And
right.
you don't have to take on the burden of handling other people's emotions, or like other people's addictions or other people's problems in their life. You only have to handle yours. And the only way to get to where you need to be going is by only handling yours.
Absolutely. And it's doing the inner work. It's really diving into yourself and understanding who you are as a human, diving into your emotions, maybe getting therapy so you have someone to reflect back to you your learning and your growth. I mean, there are so many different ways to walk this path to awaken into a real, true spiritual awakening. And really, it starts with truth. It starts with love. It starts with recognizing that you are human and that you are flawed, and there are things that you can work on. Um, we've all got emotional trauma.
Hmm.
We've all got, crap that happened in our lives. We've all got people that have abandoned us or betrayed us. We've all got things like that, that if we do not process, it becomes a trigger, and that trigger will just stay with you until you're willing to face the trauma. So, this is what they mean by spiritual bypassing. It's like you will take on these spiritual practices and neglect the emotional healing. And the truth of it is, you'll be living your life and, going on your spiritual path and doing all your meditation and yoga and everything. And then you'll get triggered and you'll immediately snap into that angry, bitter, grr person. And where did that spiritual person go? Oh, they're still there. You're just not in your truth.
Mm-hmm.
You're in your trigger. And as soon as you step into that trigger, in my experience, every time you're triggered, it's an opportunity for healing, because it shows you a little bit of your truth that you weren't willing to look at previously. So this is an opportunity for growth.
I love it. And that's the thing about spirituality. It ebbs and flows. So just in flow with everything around us in our reality that we face, whether you're spiritual or not. And I think that's the whole reason that I really dug into like intuition over anything else, was because for me, I need tangible results. I need to be able to see something is happening from what I'm doing. And so being able to see where not only was I able to, do the shadow work and do the healing that I needed to do, but I also had to have that dark night of the soul and that ego death that happened to get there. But in the process of doing that, it healed so much of my emotional wounds that just it's insane to me. I'm a little out of it today. So sorry guys. It's been a day for sure. Um, but yeah, I love it. I love that
Yeah.
we have the opportunity to really grow through that, and I like to tell people when they say, like, oh, I don't want to deal with it because it's just, blah, 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 blah. Well, here's the deal. If you deal with the emotions, if you deal with the uncomfortableness, you're going to go through the growing pain. And everybody has to. But if you stay in the same shit, you're going to wither and die. So think about it that
Yeah.
way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, the other thing that's come up recently is resistance. And I mean, really, it came up because I am in therapy. I love my therapists. It came up because I realized that there is a lot of resistance in my life. There's a lot of resistance in um, things that I don't want to experience, or resistance to things that I do want to experience, but I'm in a place of wanting or needing that thing and not recognizing that that is also showing up as resistance. So this is it's a language barrier. It's understanding that when we say I want, you're basically telling the universe that you are comfortable with wanting it, not comfortable with receiving it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a total like uh aha moment that just happened in my life, that has happened honestly, Hailey, over and over and over in my life, about manifestation, about recognizing my own patterns of limiting beliefs and all of that, and realizing that, when I speak my intentions, the universe is listening 100% of the time. And if I am not super clear about what I want in my life, what I expect in my life, the universe doesn't know what to give me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm at a point where I'm really thinking about it and really thinking. I asked myself this morning, the moment I woke up and like sat up in my bed, I was like, okay, Miss Bucklin, what exactly do you want in this life? And for the last several hours, I've been really thinking about it. What do I want to intend? What do I want to bring in? We do this regular monthly practice of burning our limiting beliefs and our fears and calling in the things that we want to experience in life. So, if I just go back to those things, those intention setting moments, and look at them and really, really look at them and look at the actual tangibility of what I could receive as a result of that intention setting, what does that look like? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree more. You said it perfectly. I don't have a whole lot to add to that. That's honestly, that was the big thing with manifestation I could never understand. And then somebody explained it to me in the concept of, people say when you manifest, talk about it like you already have it. No, like you have to see it as
Feel it.
life look like with that. And
Yeah.
it's a key component to manifestation. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I have on my vision board right next to me, I have the 7 steps to manifesting, which is from Bashar, one of the channels in the world, one of the oldest channels. I remember watching Bashar do a channeling like 10 years ago. I personally just started channeling when I started doing the Akashic Records readings. I started channeling. I had no idea what it was like to
Oh,
channel. No idea.
no,
Yeah.
wild. I've known what it's like my whole life, so that's wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I always thought, my connection to spirit, I always thought that it was always through me. I didn't have the understanding that I could channel spirit, that I could channel, galactic family or channel spirit guides. I had no idea. And maybe it was in my own learning, my own understanding of my abilities. Maybe it was just the recognition that it wasn't me, and maybe this was my spiritual ego, right? Coming
Mhm.
in and saying, well, I'm the one that's doing all the talking, right? No, it's not. It's not me. Sometimes, even in our conversations, I'm channeling,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
it's not something that I think that it's in our day-to-day language. People don't understand channeling. They don't understand that it's possible to channel your spirit guides. It's possible to bring their words through your mouth and express. This is possible and it happens. A lot of us do this. And whether or no we know or not, a lot of us do this.
Yeah, honestly. It's it's wild. It's almost as if like I know like with Christians, like they'll talk about like God speaking to them. That's channeling.
Mhm.
And so, yeah.
Speaking in tongues is channeling.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot to it. And we'll have to deep dive when I'm more present into our conversations. I apologize to our viewer base of my headspace today. But it happens because I'm human and here I am showing up and still at least doing the podcast because I tried to convince Stephanie, let's just skip a week. So,
Well, I there's something to be said for consistency,
mhm.
for sure. And I fucking love you, Hailey. I
Thank
want
you.
you to be okay. And I know that these conversations help both of us.
Mhm.
So if they're helping us, then I'm positive that they're helping other people that are listening.
Yeah. And
So
that's
I
the
want to
thing.
show up for our audience.
Give me next week. Like, catch me next week. You are going to get the bad, the good, the successful, and the days where, it's cold and bleak and gross out, and depression just kind of kicks in. And it's showing up for what you want, intuitively knowing I could have just texted you and said, hey, I'm not up for it, and ignored everything else today and turned my phone off. I could have done that, but why? Why would I do that? Why would I sabotage everything like that? And
Right? Is
so
that also spiritual bypassing?
exactly, it's overcoming it. And I mean, it's being uncomfortable in, sorry, let me rephrase that. It's being comfortable and being uncomfortable. Um,
Yeah.
kind of a paradox, but that's what it is, I'm comfortable in the uncomfortability because I know that if nothing else goes right today, I can at least say today I showed up, we recorded a podcast episode, and I don't give a frickety frackety frack if anybody enjoys it because I'm here and I enjoy it. And
Awesome.
that's what matters. So
That's what matters. I'm glad you're here.
glad you're here.
Thank you.
Coming back.
Oh, well, thank you all for joining us today. I feel like we did drop some wisdom, even though maybe it was a
Stephanie
little
dropped some
tainted.
wisdom. Yeah, Stephanie dropped some wisdom.
Oh, you shared. Don't give me that.
I I dropped wisdom if you're able to understand it in a um headspace that, wanting to be able to put the words together, but you can't.
For sure.
So I'm here.
Okay,
See you guys next week.
absolutely.
Have a beautiful
Thank you,
weekend.
everybody. Thank you, Haley.
Thank you, Stephanie. Bye.